Everybody I ask gives me a new opinion. Everybody I ask tells me that that is better, this is better. Why don't you do that? Why don't you do this? Experience in Java. Correct. But wherever you are applying, please understand what the company does. See, I don't want to look at somebody's experience in terms of what are the things that person has done 10 years ago, 5 years ago. No. Now, uh, now you might ask a question, Ki Subhash, you gave us a complete view of what the market is, what the demand is, and what the salaries are. Now, this is all exciting and great, but how do I get in? How do I get that foot in the door? What is the process for doing it, right? So, first and foremost, we talk about harnessing your key skills. Now, believe me, when I say that when I graduated, I did my engineering, I did my masters, I came into the industry. There is a plethora of opportunity. Everybody I ask gives me a new opinion. Everybody I ask tells me that that is better, this is better. Why don't you do that? Why don't you do this? Now, the choices are immense in today's world. You go and search on Google, the choices are immense. You can do everything under the cloud that you have access to. But first and foremost, you need to understand what is that you can do and what is that you want to do. Now, this is an example. I'm just sharing it on a lighter note. Uh, my son, who is 5 years old, when I ask him what is that you want to become, okay, he says that I want to become a doctor. Okay. Now I ask him, why do you want to become a doctor? So he says that I want to operate on people, because he do play those games and he loves opening and playing those games and all of it. That's his version of understanding what a doctor is. He really doesn't understand the impact and the challenge and the testing time that it takes for becoming a doctor, the 5 years or 7 years of harrowing period if you want to become an MS and along the way. So first, let's understand our limitations very clearly, what we can do. You are a graduate, you are a tech graduate, you wanted to do something with your career. I mean, for some of us, it is sheerly money. It doesn't matter what I do as long as I get a consistent money, good money, a secured future. Even that could be an enticing thing for majority of somebody's career. That is also okay. No harm in that. But then you have to understand how the market trends are moving. So today, if somebody says that I am working in an industry which is dying, which is very old, which is not which is not moving dynamically, and I continue to be in that industry, I continue to do that old skills. Somebody working on C++, somebody who is working on .NET might not get the kind of growth to comparatively to another guy who is working on maybe a data science or a data engineering or maybe a cyber security. A year on year 25%, 35%, 45% growth they cannot expect. So first understand the kind of role or the kind of growth that you want from your career. What is that you have? And then start identifying that position and then identify those key skills. Uh, I mean, in today's day and age, those key skills keep changing with every 2 years, 3 years cycle. So for you to learn those two to three skills, it takes, you will have maximum 12 months to 18 months maximum to learn those skills, be expert at it, then move on to the next skill. It happens in every role for us. So identify those key skills, harness them, make sure that you are very good at it. And when I say very good at it, it's like this, right? Even I learned to code. I learned to code in .NET. I learned to code in C. I learned to code in C++. By the time I completed my MBA after my engineering, I didn't remember anything. People used to ask me what is data structures, what is algorithms. I was completely lost. So your learning has to be consistent. You need to be able to relate to and solve problems. Today, one of the key things that companies look at is people who can solve problems for them. You give a problem, you should be able to think logically and build a solution for them. So that's step one. Step two would be, um, See, I know that many of the job descriptions that you get in the market, you get it like we are looking to hire freshers from 0 to 2 years. We are looking at people who have experience of 1 to 2 years, who has experience in Java. Correct. But wherever you are applying, please understand what the company does. Read the job description. Generally, in job description, they might not give lot of information about what the job does, but definitely there would be information about what the company does. Obviously, you would be applying to tech companies, so what the company does. So read a little, understand the job description from the company's way of working. I know it's a very large inference to understand that what would a company like Microsoft do with Java? What would a company like Amazon do with Java? It's very difficult to understand, but that is what the logic that you need to build over a period. First time it will be difficult, second time it will be difficult. Over a period, you will start understanding how and what skills that the company is hiring for. If you want a reference how you can do it, go to LinkedIn, go to Naukri, just search for the kind of jobs the company posts under Java. Experienced jobs, obviously. So you will understand that, okay, Amazon posts mostly cloud-based Java technologies. So at any point of time, if I go into the company, there is a higher chance that I would get to work on cloud-based Java technology. I work with Microsoft mostly. I would end up working with JavaScript and .NET. Obviously, .NET being moved out to HTML5. So JavaScript and HTML5. So the understanding, building the understanding is very important. So read the job descriptions carefully, understand how and what the expectation would be, and be prepared for it. Next, step 3 is basically research about the company. Like I said, now what does the company do? What kind of operations do they have in India? Because believe me, many of the times when we used to work, I'm just giving an example. I will not take the name of the company, but we went to set up an office for them in Pune. First time they were setting up office in Pune. So we started interviewing people. We met a gentleman, a senior gentleman, and we asked, what do you know about this company? It's a chip designing company. So what do you know about this company? So this gentleman says that you guys make chips that we put in computers. Now that is perfectly correct for a layman. For a layman who is going on the road, who, if I ask, he stops him and asks him, that's correct. But for a prospect who is coming to interview for a company, that is not what is expected. So for an interviewer, when I do an interview for a customer, for my company, even as a recruiter, it doesn't need to be a hiring manager. Even as a recruiter, the first thing that catches my eye is how much information do you have about the company that I work for? If you can tell me the recent things, I mean, news is freely available for everybody. Look about the 3-4 unique things about that company, what the company does. Not the revenue, not the number of people, when it was founded, who is the founder. All that information is not relevant. Recent trends that is relevant to the kind of things that the company does. For example, if you talk about India, today one of the biggest things that we are all hearing about is the kind of things happening with Adani, which is a very, very prominent thing that we can see in market. Adani group of companies, right, with Heidenberg report that has come. Now, if somebody is going to Adani for a job, right, so they should understand what Heidenberg report is, how the impact will be. I'm just giving an example because this is fresh in everybody's minds. It's a negative thing that is happening in the market, but you need to have an understanding of how that impact could be. Maybe you might not get an opportunity to talk about it, but having knowledge about what is happening about the company in the recent times, what are the things that they have done, good, bad. You don't need to tell that this is bad. You just say that this is in the news. This is in the information in the news. I read about it like that. So that sparks a conversation and that creates a little impact about how you will be looked at differently. Moving further. Now, very important bit of it. Now, we keep getting these requests, we keep getting these questions. How would I make my resume more interesting to a recruiter? Okay, if you are a recruiter, what would be that you would want to look at in the CV that you get from a fresher, from somebody who has just 1 year of experience. See, I don't want to look at somebody's experience in terms of what are the things that that person has done 10 years ago, 5 years ago. No, please write the resume in such a way that is easy to read, simple on the eyes. Believe me, one of the statistics that we have done, and it is there, that a recruiter spends 10 seconds, in fact, sometimes less than 10 seconds, looking at a CV before making a decision of taking it forward or not. Now, think about it. If somebody spends 10 seconds on a CV, how could you make a lasting impression of the resume? What are the things that you want to have a recall value? Because your name, your things that you played badminton somewhere in your school days, all that is not relevant to anybody. What is that you can do now? One of the key things that we tell candidates who prepare their CVs is say that don't write an objective. Instead, write your statement. Write a statement. What is that you want to become? Because as a fresher who goes into the market, has just 1 year in the market, you cannot say that I have this much experience and this is my objective to the company. Write a statement. You say that this is something that I want to become. That creates a lasting impact on people. Okay, use softer colors. Make sure that you are if you have some limited experience, you have done some projects that are interesting, write about them, that is relevant to the job, makes lasting impression on people. Okay, make sure you don't maintain a standard resume and keep making smaller changes every time that you send it to a recruiter. Helps you in updating yourself on these things. Last and foremost, search the hiring manager on social media. Now, one of the key mistakes that most of us do is that, I wouldn't say it's a mistake, but basically one of the things that we ignore to do is whenever the invitation comes to meet, I mean, these days we are getting invitation in terms of virtual invitation, a Zoom call, a Teams a meeting invite. We could get to see the managers meet, the manager whom we are meeting. And take the name of the manager, search on social media, either on LinkedIn, mostly on LinkedIn or Google. If you get an opportunity, great. If you don't get an opportunity, there is nothing that we can do about it. You can ask the recruiter who is the hiring manager who is going to interview me. After the first round with the recruiter is done, look at the manager. Where is he coming from? What kind of companies has he worked with? What kind of experience that has he had? Maybe you might be interviewed by a tech lead for a fresher or a developer, somebody who is maybe just 2 years older than you. Try to make a relation with that person. Understand, if you know whom you are talking, then it will be easier to have a conversation with that person. Makes a lot of impact in the conversation when you know the person before you go into the meeting. Next, please. Now, practice the most common interview questions. Now, this is being told, I'm pretty sure this is a common suggestion that you get across your educational institutions. Every training center that you go, you have a list of questions which are very common in interview. You have to practice them. Make sure that you get the right kind of understanding what you are. Listen to that other person who is asking the questions, what he's asking completely. If you don't understand it, if at a point of time, don't try to bluff. Don't try to say, oh, this is like this. Don't go and jump into answering questions. Listen to what the other person is telling. Obviously, you would have practiced it, so you would have an experience of answering questions. And last of times, we end up answering with the excitement rather than the interest. So try to show the interest instead of excitement. Talk to people. Listen to what they're telling. If you don't understand, ask. I understand this. Is it right? Or can you please explain to me one more time? I didn't understand this bit. It's okay. I mean, it just takes 2 seconds, but it creates an impact that, yes, this person will come back for a feedback if you don't understand. Okay. So that's mostly about the steps that we follow in terms of it.